Call this regular scheduled meeting of the City Council to order. I'll ask everyone to please stand. Mr. Brown, if you lead us in the invocation. Mr. Wright, Mr. Child. Yes, sir. Mr. Child, lead us in the pledge of the flag.
Would you pray with me, please? Our Heavenly Father, we come to you once again with grateful hearts. Thank you for the opportunity to live in a country that we can come together as a body and do business in the city of Kingston. Be with all of the people that are ill and sick, and wrap your arms around them, and hopefully they'll be well. But most of all, we thank you for your Son who died for us for our sins, and we give you praise every day. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you, Mr. Brown and Mr. Childs. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilmember Brown.
President.
Councilmember Childs.
President.
Councilmember Griffiths.
President.
Vice Mayor Humphries.
Present.
I don't think we can.
We can't, you can't vote.
Councilmember Stockton. Councilmember Wright. Mayor Neal.
Present. Do I hear a motion for approval of the previous minutes?
Move to approve.
I'll second it.
Motion second. We've seen corrections and deletions to the minutes. Seeing none, Madam Clerk, will you call the roll for the minutes?
Councilmember Brown.
Yes.
Councilmember Childs.
Yes.
Councilmember Griffiths.
Yes.
Mayor Neal.
Aye.
4 ayes.
Now I've got a proclamation to give out. The first thing, I'll go ahead and read it while I'm up here, then I'll bring it up and deliver it to the ladies. So whereas September 17, 2021 marks the 234th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention. And whereas it is fitting and proper to accord official recognition to this magnificent document in its memorable anniversary and to the patriotic celebrations which will commemorate the occasion. Whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America, designating September the 17th through the 23rd as Constitutional Week. Now therefore, I, Timothy F. Neal, by virtue of the authority vested in me as the mayor of the city of Kingston in the state of Tennessee, do hereby proclaim the week of September the 17th through the 23rd as Constitutional Week, and ask our citizens to reaffirm the ideas of the framers of the Constitution had in 1787 by vigilantly protecting the freedoms guaranteed to us through the guardians of our liberties, remembering the laws of rights, yet they never be regained. If you ladies would come up, I'll bring us down. Thank you very much. Now, do I have any other citizens that wish to appear before the council?
I'm Pam May. I'm with the Run Alliance. I try to come at least quarterly to give a report. And just a few things I want to talk about. We do have a new Run Alliance strategic plan for the next 3 to 5 years. A copy is available. Kaylee has brought some packets with information. That's just one of the documents, but it's also available at runalliance.org/plans. One of the goals for the team this year, moving forward, is to report to each of the city councils quarterly also. So Kaylee Hill is here with me. She's our communications and marketing director. She's also going to kind of give a report about some of the marketing efforts, Tennessee River Line. So what I wanted to let you guys be aware of is the tourism impact numbers came out for 2020. The state just released those several weeks ago. Since this is for 2020, we did expect a decline. It was 14% in the visitor spending. Of course, that was the year that pretty much hospitality and travel ended for pretty much the entire year. There were 15 states out of the 95 that saw an increase, but when I looked kind of what those counties were, it didn't look like they were counties I was that familiar with, wasn't part of the tourism program, big in it. So I think they probably had other things that continued to pull their visitors into the county. So what I did do is I looked and compared our visitor impact and decline with our competitive counties around us. And we didn't decline as much as those. Ray declined 28%, Loudon 21%, and Jefferson 17%. So, all in all, it wasn't too bad news. And then just to give you an idea of how Rome compares with impact from those same counties, again, our estimated spending by visitors was $51 million, and Ray brings in $29 million. That was between lodging, food, and transportation. They are breaking it down now so we can see the percentages, so that's good to compare. Loudon, $63 million, so they're above us, with nearly half of theirs coming just from food. They have, a lot of big exits with restaurants. Jefferson, $50 million, split pretty evenly like we were with between lodging, food, and transportation and rate. Hotel motel tax in 2020 did increase by 1%. So that was some good news, and I do feel that probably had more to do with our campgrounds. All of them are in the county, and so I do feel that was one way people could travel. They felt comfortable during 2020, and I think just talking to our campgrounds, we know they stayed pretty full and a lot of times had a waiting list. Some of that probably comes from the housing shortage too, people wanting to sell their houses, and I know I got several phone calls of where could they put their camper permanently for quite some time, so I'm sure that helped. We have a 3-star grant that we've received to promote education, workforce, and quality of life. And how we want to use that grant is to identify, which some of that we've already identified, and market to specific types of industry or retail, like the tourism industry, really reach out to recreation type businesses and those that go well with recreation, like microbreweries or outfitters. And part of that will include marketing materials that promote specific areas good for those same industries. One of those, of course, would be Galahar exit, and we know retail is a numbers game. A lot of times the retailers that are expanding, that are looking at our housing, different numbers to see if they want to consider Roan. But we know our housing is increasing, so there is some hope there, and I know some of it's slower than what we would like, but it is happening. So what we can do is help them see the growth and things that are coming down the pike, like with Galahar exit. We know the training center's coming. So there's things like that we can promote and I think may help. We would like for you guys to partner with us and just give us some input, because there's some of that maybe property at Galahar we don't quite know enough about. You guys could help us, and same thing with anywhere here in Kingston that you guys think would be good for us to promote. The RFP goes out sometime this month. We're still waiting on 3-star to give us the go-ahead. So we hope to get that started here soon. So we do have to bid it out for a firm. Speaking of the Enhanced Training Center, it isn't far from Galahar exit. It's in Oak Ridge part of Rome County, and it is moving along finally, and they do expect that to be completed by the end of next year. It's the only one of its kind in the nation, and we know that it will bring a lot of visitors here just for training opportunities that they can get anywhere else in the country. So I do feel Galahar exit's very close to growing, and I'd say pretty quickly once it gets started. Workforce is an issue, so what we've started to do is schedule some virtual meetings with our industries per park, just to kind of get a smaller group, bring together our educational institutions and other workforce partners to just hear from them. How can we help? How can, what do they need? We know it's a struggle everywhere, so we hope that we can take that then to some of our other types of businesses, our retail, small businesses, and do more of those. So if you guys have any resources or anyone that that would want to be part of that, please let us know. Our first ones is this month that we've scheduled for our industries. So now I'm going to let Kaylee give some reports on some other initiatives that are going on, but as always, you can reach out to me. I'd love to, hear from you and know what your needs are and how we can help. So appreciate it.
Before she goes, question came up in our work shop last Tuesday about the signs and monies that was set aside by the TDA money. Does Kingston still have money available for signage, and so how much?
I pledged,
You just let us know.
I can tell you.
Okay.
I pledged $7,500 to each city, but there's additional money. There's almost $40,000, I think, left in the pot total. And I've held on to that money in spite of some of my board members and my treasurer telling me we need to spend it, but I am adamant that it be towards signs. I noticed on Facebook the other day, Morgan County's got signage, and it looks nice, and it's branded, and so, we can do that too. I don't know why it's been so slow. Part of that's just been working with UDOT. I'm just glad you guys have kind of taken the lead. I think if anybody can get where you guys can, but we're here to help. I did also submit a request to the county commission that be one of the things to consider for additional signage out in the county to go along with what you guys can do and what we can do here in the city from the stimulus money that the mayor can.
Was that the original amount? For some reason, I was thinking that it was $40,000 per town. Did I just dream?
Yeah, that's all we really had the whole
From
time.
the get-go?
Yeah. And the $7,500 was really just to help you guys put towards, say, one sign, like a welcome sign on both sides, just to kind of get it jump-started. And then the rest of the money I kind of held just for additional signage in the county. But if we can get some of the, and I don't think it's going to cost that much. The welcome signs will, but I think the wayfinding, some of those won't.
Hello, as Pam said, my name is Kaylee Hill, and I'm the Communications and Marketing Manager for the Rome Alliance. I did want to leave you with these packets that she had mentioned, and I also have some of our merchandise that we've been working on branding. We have some water bottles and some koozies and bottles in here that I wanted to leave with you for you guys to take if you want. Right here. And then I just wanted to quickly mention one event that we hosted this past weekend in partnership with the county, and that was our Tennessee River Line group paddle. We had about 50 people register for the event, where around 40 showed up that morning to paddle, and it was a great turnout for a 6-mile paddle at 8 o'clock on a Saturday morning. We started at Polecat Ramp in Loudoun County and ended in Whitestone here in Kingston. And we're actually already planning another group paddle for Saturday, October 23rd. So we're starting some marketing for that and getting some the Eventbrite set up to sell tickets. The next two things I wanted to mention are chamber events and their networking events. The first one is our Chamber Chat Coffee. It is on October 7th at 8:30 a.m. at One Bank in Kingston. And that's a good opportunity to come out and just network with other chamber members and chamber ambassadors. And then the next one is a Women in Business Luncheon. So this is also a networking event, but targeted towards business women here in Rome County. And it's actually a 4-part series. And it goes on, it's every other month through March. And the details of the speakers and the dates for those luncheons can be found on the flyers that are within these packets that I provided. The next one is our Jingle and Mingle Market. So last year was our first time hosting this event, and it's a shopping event, Christmas shopping. It's going to be on November 13th and 14th at the barn at Maple Creek in Kingston. And it's a community-wide holiday shopping event with local vendors set up. Last year we had around 30 vendors. And at one point, I think there were around 500 cars in the parking lot. So we had a really good turnout. And this year we already, as of Friday, we announced that we were accepting vendors for the event. And we already have 16 that have applied to be a vendor. So we are expecting a really good turnout of vendors as well as shoppers. And then the last thing I want to mention isn't an event, but it is a project that we have going on right now. We've been working with a company called Target Marketing to publish a new up-to-date full-color street map and resource guide for the county. And our plan is to distribute these maps to locals and tourists, as well as individuals and businesses who are new to Roane County. Those are also, there's a letter that we're using to send out to chamber members to tell them about advertising opportunities for that resource guide and map. And that letter, an example of that letter is in the packet as well. That has a link if you guys want some more information to our web pages and stuff. So that's all I've got.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Thank you, Dave.
Is there anyone else who wishes to address the council tonight? All right, seeing them, we'll go into reports. I'll start with Mr. Childs. Do you have anything to report, Mr. Childs?
No, sir.
Mr. Brown?
My report's in the packet. Just want to mention that in our packet, I read with interest, I know David's under the weather, and Kelly, if you'll pass it on when he gets in. I was really impressed with, thank you, David. I was real impressed with the fire department. Didn't think about it, but they've had training this last month on how to extinguish and approach electric vehicles. Hadn't even thought about that, about how to do it. They've had sessions, so David, tell them that was interesting and glad that they're ahead of the curve.
You got anything else? No. Mr. Griffiths, you have anything?
Well, I was going to mention at our library board meeting, they're doing some stuff around the outside of it, going to add the fence and taking out some shrubs, and just making improvement. And that's being done by a product donation, so that we're passed.
I don't have anything to add. I'm not sure who all's on the phone tonight. I know Miss Humphries there. Miss Humphries, do you have anything?
Not much. We weren't able to have our parking rec meeting this month due to the holiday, but we did have a storm report, and that was successful. We're continuing to try to make plans for Fall Fest. That's about it.
All right, so I don't have anything. So, Mr. City Manager, you got any kind of things you want to speak about while you're on here?
I do, Mayor. Thank you, and I appreciate y'all accommodating me to call in tonight. I'm feeling too well, so it's nice to be able to attend the meeting from my couch. So I appreciate that, and I hope you guys can hear me okay. Just a few things. First of all, Mr. Brown, thank you. I was going to pass that on to the fire department, and I thought that was really interesting training for them to do too. So they're constantly working on that. Just a few things. The Greenway, we get a lot of questions about that. Obviously, that's something that we've been working on for a long time, as you all know. Wanted to give you a little update. We've had some challenges, whether it be weather, availability of dirt. Now our most latest problem is issues with the bulldozer. We're working on getting that fixed. It's about 2 weeks off, but I want to thank the Highway Department. They've been gracious enough to loan us a piece of equipment to resume that work until we get ours fixed. And we also just recently found a pretty good source for dirt. So some good news there, and I know Tim's guys will jump on that and certainly be glad, all of us will, to get that finished. Coming up later tonight, the budget amendment for the bond issue and some of our other projects. One of the things included in that that I know a lot of people are interested in are updates to our traffic light controls. We have included that funding. I think that's going to be money very well spent. And we're working on now getting some estimates on that. We're talking to a company. We're trying to get something scheduled. May have some information on that within the next couple of days. Trying to get them to come in and meet with us and maybe even do some sort of a possible demo. So I'll update you on that when we have a date if any of you are interested in sitting in on that. But I know that we all get our share of complaints about the traffic lights, and I'm just thrilled that we're getting ready to hopefully do something to address that. Another thing that we've been talking about for a while, and I don't have a ton of information on this, but I'm certainly glad to get what I have, our Christmas lights. We've had several people for years talking about wanting to put Christmas lights along the dike, and that conversation's picked up over the last year or so, and Vice Mayor Humphrey's been working really hard on that. I found out yesterday that REU now says that it can be done, and looks like we're going to be able to make that happen. So I know there's some work we have to do on our end, and obviously some work that REU is going to have to do. But that's going to get started, and certainly great news. I want to thank whoever, Councilmember Childs and the rest of the folks down at REU for being able to get that done for us. Finally, we've talked some about it, but Train has finished their audit of our facilities and our energy usage. They want to be here at the October workshop to present their findings. I had a meeting with them probably 2 weeks ago and went over what they found. I think they had about $2.7 million in improvements that they've identified. Certainly under no obligation to do any of them, but a whole host of things, some more of a priority than others, as you can imagine. I've conveyed to them time and again that our top priority is the ball field, and specifically the ones at Southwest Point, and anything beyond that will be council to discuss. But they are going to be here. As you know, we've got money earmarked in the bond funds to do the lighting at the ball fields, and that's something that we'll have to jump on. I believe that we may have another estimate coming in as well, but Train will be here in October to present their findings. And Mayor, I think that's all I have, unless you have any questions.
Somebody have any questions for City Manager? Mr. Brown?
David, is there any way that you could get a hold of Todd with the state and referring to the traffic lights to get a count on those two lights out there and whether or not we need both of them?
Sure.
I mean, I
Sure,
think
yeah.
that may be something that they would do for almost nothing, to see how many people turn to the church, how many people come off the interstate, so that when we set those lights, that may be something that helps us, that we wouldn't have to pay this other company for. I'm sure that they'll probably do it too. I sat out there today and just watched it a little while, and I can see why the people are complaining. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Thank you, Mr. Dolan. Item 7 is addition of items to the meeting agenda received after the close of the agenda deadline. There were none. Item 8 is unfinished business. There is no unfinished business. So number 9 is new business. Item 8 is consideration of the first reading of ordinance 2109-1401, an ordinance amending the annual budget for the city of Kingston, Tennessee for fiscal year 2021-2022. To hear a motion for this ordinance.
Move for the adoption of 2109-1401.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Brown, second by Mr. Childs. Mr. Brown.
Go ahead.
Mr. Childs. Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Childs?
Yes.
Councilmember Griffiths?
Yes.
Mayor Neal?
Aye.
4 ayes.
Item B is consideration of resolution 2109-1401, a resolution authorizing the city of Kingston to participate in the James L. Richardson Driver Safety Matching Grant Program.
Move for the adoption of 2109-1401.
I'll second it.
Motion from Mr. Brown, second from Mr. Griffiths. Mr. Brown, anything?
Just that those in this thing here, I didn't look at the packet, they both got the same number.
One of them is an ordinance and
One
one
of
of
them's
them
a resolution, thank you.
is... Anyone else? Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Childs?
Yes.
Councilmember Griffiths?
Yes.
Mayor Neal?
Aye.
4 ayes.
Item C is consideration of a request from Jason Taylor to close sections of Cumberland Street and Patton Ferry Road on November 6th for a car show.
Move we accept his proposal based on recommendations by the chief of police.
Second. Got a motion from Mr. Brown, second Mr. Childs. Anything else on that, Mr. Brown?
No.
Mr. Childs?
Brings a lot of people down.
I agree. I apologize for missing the work session, so Chief, you okay with what's going on with it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'll be meeting with Jason tomorrow.
Okay. Madam Clerk, call the roll on the closing sections of Cumberland Street, Baton Rouge Road.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Childs?
Yes.
Councilmember Griffiths?
Yes.
Mayor Neal?
Aye. That's the end of the agenda for the Kingston City Council meeting. So we'll go straight into the regular meeting of the Kingston Beer Board. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll for the beer board?
Member Brown?
Present.
Member Childs?
Present.
Member Griffiths?
Present.
Vice Chair Humphries? Member Stockton? Member Wright? Chairman Neal?
Present. To hear a motion to approve the previous minutes as written?
So moved.
These two. He made the motion, you second. Will you call the roll on the previous minutes?
Member Brown?
Yes.
Member Childs?
Yes.
Member Griffiths?
Yes.
Mayor Neal?
Aye. There is no business for the beer boards that meeting adjourned. And now we're going to call the regular meeting of the Kingston Water Board session. Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Member Brown?
Present.
Member Childs?
Present.
Member Griffiths?
Present.
Vice Chair Humphries? Member Stockton? Member Wright? Chairman Neal?
Present. To hear a motion to approve the previous minutes.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
The motion by Mr. Griffith, second by Mr. Childs. Are there any corrections or deletions to the minutes? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll on the previous minutes.
Member Brown?
Yes.
Member Childs? Yes. Member Griffiths?
Yes.
Chairman Neal?
Aye. Do I have any comments, citizens that wish to address the beer board tonight? Water. I'm sorry, water board. Just want to make you get kind of confused. All right, seeing none, go to the utility director's report. Mr. Bowling, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have just one comment in addition to my written report. As most or all of you know, a couple days ago, late last week, we had a big water main leak and others down 3rd Street. I know it's frustrating for all of us because we've had several in that area and really can't explain why. You know, we've got water lines all over town that are much, much older. I think that section's about 20 years old and certainly should be having more problems in other places than there. Really can't figure out why. But one thing that sets this apart is the fact that we didn't have anybody lose water, and that's a first for a main like that. You know, we have so much trouble with our old valves and getting them turned off and having to try to isolate so they can get in there and fix it. And if you remember when we had the leaks there at the intersection just down from this other one, we made an investment in some new leaks. That was Kevin Hamilton's idea, and it certainly paid off because they were able to quickly get that shut off and isolated so they could get in and fix it. And even the jail right next door didn't lose water. So definitely that's money well spent, and I think the kind of thing that we need to look at for at least some of our ARP funds. We have old valves all over town, and it's going to be in a really good position to start talking about making some changes like that. You all know we have the special call meeting coming up to start those discussions. So just want to point that out. And of course, as always, thank Kevin and his guys for a job well done on that. And that's all I have unless you have any questions.
Does anyone have any questions for the utility director? Seeing none. There is no new business for the water board. Is there anything to come before the water board tonight? Seeing none, this meeting is adjourned.